The New England Patriots looking for his first victory as team owner, but he's rejuvenated this franchise, once the laughing stock of the NFL. And as he involved, here he is just a few moments ago giving some pregame pointers to his kicker, Matt Barr. And Coach Bill Parcells sees a season of promise rapidly slipping away, needs a victory today to continue the love affair New England fans have had with this team. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Riverfront. Tom Hammond and Chris Collinsworth. Two winless teams today, but don't blame the offense of the Patriots. Best in the NFL, due in large measure to Drew Bledsoe.
Oh, I tell you, Drew Bledsoe has been just sensational so far this season, averaging over 400 yards passing per game. No question that he has come of age for the New England Patriots, but this is a team doing it in very un-Bill Parcells-like fashion, throwing the football.
And the Bengals kicking off to the Patriots to get the game underway. Here's Ray Crittenden with a blocker in front. Tripped up just beyond the 25 to the 26-yard line. And the New England Patriots will get the game underway. Drew Bledsoe ready to come on the field with his starting offensive unit. Up front, Armstrong, Cratch, Arthur, Skeen, and Harlow done a pretty good job pass blocking, not so hot run blocking. Bledsoe, of course, is having the great start to the season, hitting 62% of his passes. And Ben Coates, the man to watch, second leading receiver in all of the NFL. Three wide, gets Thompson into the backfield, and Crittenden as the third wide receiver. Bledsoe to pass on first down. Under pressure, had it tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it falls incomplete. Intended for Michael Timpson. Bengals line up defensively this way, with Rucker getting the start in place of Crumry. Dan Wilkinson, first player taken in the draft. Ricardo McDonald has been injured. He gets a start today at linebacker. Secondary, Brim, Jones, Oliver, and Williams. And in passing situations, in their nickel, Corey Sawyer, the fifth defensive back. Bledsoe again will go to the air. Rifles it downfield, complete to Brisby. He's ridden out of bounds by Mike Grimm, but he has a New England first down. And there you saw the arm strength of Drew Bledsoe.
No question about it, and an unusual opening strategy from Larry Peccatello, the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a team that has not been known for blitzing the quarterback, and on the first two downs, they come after Drew Bledsoe.
Bledsoe 1 for 2 to open the game. Already has thrown for 800 yards on the season, best in the NFL. First running play, Marion Butts finds some room up the middle, gets about 4 yards before John Copeland drags him down. Marion Butts, of course, #1 rusher on this team, but he's gained only 107 yards, averaging just over 3 yards a carry after coming over from the Chargers.
He's a tremendous force, no question about it. Bill Parcells would love to see Marion Butts establish a little ground game. The Patriots have not been able to run the football with any effectiveness at all so far this season.
Butts a gain of just over 2 yards on that carry. And he tries it this time and gets nothing. There to meet him are John Copeland and Keith Rucker. Rucker, number 95, getting the start in his third season from Ohio Wesleyan, a Division III player. You see, in 340 pounds, he can clog up the middle.
Just a little guy.
And you see the Bengals decal on the helmets as they return to their original uniforms. 1968 to 1980, the Bengals wore these uniforms, so the stripes are off the helmets and the Bengals decal is on.
And Drew Bledsoe in a familiar situation, having to throw on 3rd and long.
Bledsoe fires it and it's intercepted. Lewis Oliver picked it off. Oliver has it inside the 40 of the Patriots. There's a penalty marker down, a flag on the play. Lewis Oliver, the strong safety, his first interception of the season. You see the referees in their old-style caps. Bob McElwee heading the crew today.
The interception is good. After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 29 on the intercepting team. 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
Well, you see the look of puzzlement on the face of Lewis Oliver. He's the man that had the football.
Here is exactly why Louis Oliver was given the big money to come to Cincinnati. He is a freelancer in the secondary. Oftentimes, he will completely drop his coverage if the young quarterback Drew Bledsoe stares down a receiver. That time Bledsoe looked left all the way. Louis Oliver took a chance and came up with a big play for the Bengals.
And after he made the play and was tackled, he kicked the man that tackled him, and that was the source of the penalty. So the Bengals first down now at their own 46. Klingler to go up top. Dodges one man. Gets away from another and will run, and he has room. Ducks out of bounds after a gain of 11 into Patriot territory. David Klingler leading this offensive unit of the Bengals that has Sergeant Cadogan Grills up front. Moyer moves into the right guard spot, and Kazurski from guard to tackle. Klingler has hit 54% of his passes, 62% of his passes so far. Fenner is both the leading receiver and the leading rusher. Broussard and McGee come in the Hawk on passing situations. Rookie Darnay Scott, too, getting a start today at wide receiver for Cincinnati. Screen pass to Fenner. Made two men miss and then cuts upfield inside the 40 down to the 38-yard line. Vincent Brown finally tracked him down with help from Myron Guyton. Here's the way the Patriots line up defensively. Pitts, Goad, and Jones up front. Vincent Brown, the perennial leading tackler for the Patriots. And Marty Moore, last player taken in the draft, is a starter and the leading tackler for New England. The secondary has been burned repeatedly. Worst pass defense in the NFL. Smith and Brown come in for two extra DBs in the dime. Fenner hit a solid wall at the line of scrimmage and then managed to carry him forward for a gain of a couple of yards. Derek Fenner, as we said, both the leading rusher and leading receiver for Cincinnati. Tim Goad got the tackle.
And this New England secondary has really struggled, Tom. You hit on it just a couple of minutes ago. We asked Bill Parcells about the fact they're giving up over 400 yards per game on average. He says our guys know the coverage. It just looks like they don't.
He said definitely expecting better things. They have better players than that, he says, than to give up 400 a game. Harold Green's first carry will net a Cincinnati first down. He is stopped at the 31-yard line by Mike Jones.
It's going to be an interesting challenge for both these teams today. The Bengals have really struggled trying to throw the ball down the field. They're averaging just over 5 yards per pass attempt. That's next to last in the National Football League. And on the other side, the New England Patriots have been giving up so many big plays. So obviously they're going to be back a little bit deeper, but the Bengals want to work it down the field. Interesting to see who wins that battle.
Illustrative of what you're saying, Fenner and Green, the two top receivers for Cincinnati, running backs. Ball knocked away from Klingler, and he caught it back. The rushing man, Mike Jones, knocked the ball away from Klingler as he was cocking to throw, and it came right back into his arms.
Unbelievable that David Klingler was able to find this football. Jones basically comes free. A little stunt, a little game, hits the football, no question a fumble. Klingler turns around, finds it, falls on it.
Jones will get credit for the sack, though. The former Cardinal with his 10th career sack. Over the middle and behind the intended receiver, Darnay Scott. Bad throw by Klingler.
Al Grove not wasting any time, putting some pressure on young David Klingler. Have to wonder about this Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. They have gone through some tackles already this year. Their starting offensive tackle, Joe Walter, is out with a season-ending knee injury. Eric Moore broke his leg last week, so now Bruce Kazurski has to move out to right tackle. A lot of questions as to whether or not this offensive line can protect David Klingler.
Third and long. This is the Hawk formation. Pickens, Scott, and McGee, three wides with Broussard on the draw. Broussard with one man to beat. Touchdown. The speedy Steve Broussard, the third down specialist, Rambo's 38 yards for the Cincinnati touchdown.
Well, congratulations to the Patriots. They found a new way to give up a long touchdown. It used to be via the pass. Now give up the long run. This is a defense really struggling in the first three ball games of this season.
Doug Pelfrey will try to add on the extra point, boots it up, and missed it. Pelfrey missed it. He had been perfect this year in field goals and point after touchdowns, and Pelfrey Mr. Dependable misses the extra point. So the celebration short-lived on the Cincinnati sideline, but Broussard with a great 38-yard run.
Again, the Patriots come with the double-barrel blitz. Perfect call. The draw play, the quickness of Broussard, no chance to catch him.
Broussard goes 38, and the Bengals with a quick 6-0 lead on New England. Bill Parcells told us yesterday the key to victory, the first of the season for the Patriots, would be no turnovers and no big plays for the opposition. And on the first series, he allows both.
0 for 2.
Oliver with the interception. Broussard a 38-yard score. Here's Crittenden with a kickoff. Blasted to the turf on a beautiful form tackle by Roger Jones of the Bengals special teams. Broussard rushing 38 yards for the Cincinnati touchdown. That is a rare thing. Only 3 touchdowns on the ground all of last season. And already 2. One by Green, now one by Broussard in 94.
And Steve Broussard was upset all week. He thought that he got yanked out of the football game last week because he fumbled inside the 5-yard line, didn't get back into the game. Coaches assured him that he'd get his opportunities today, and he took advantage.
Bengals moved the ball against the Chargers last week, but turnovers very costly, as they were to New England. They could have scored 50 points on Buffalo without the turnovers. Marion Butts written down after a short gain by Ricardo McDonald. Welcome back, number 56, who has been out with an injury. He tore his ACL in the next to last game of last season and just now getting back into form.
And he is the better run stopper for the Cincinnati Bengals defense. They've played a lot of people out there so far, David Braxton, Santos Stevens, but he gives them a little extra beef against the run.
Despite missing those 2 games, he was the second leading tackler for the Bengals and had 12 stops in the Cincinnati game against New England last year. Bledsoe's pass down the sideline and incomplete with Timpson the closest. Might have been a mix-up because they had 2 receivers right together in the pattern.
I would imagine that Ray Perkins, the offensive coordinator for the Patriots, is a little surprised at what he's seeing out of Larry Peccatello's defense. Ordinarily, the Bengals play predominantly a zone defense, don't put a lot of pressure, just rush with the front 4, and so far we've seen them coming after Drew Bledsoe.
3rd and 9 for Bledsoe. Watch Ben Coates, number 87, the tight end. He's to the right. Instead, it goes to Timpson, and he has enough for a New England first down, just short of the 35-yard line, where he's tackled by Mike Brim.
Again, the Bengals come with pressure, leaving man-to-man coverage in the secondary. Timpson just simple turn-in pattern. Plenty of room given out there by Mike Brim. If you can protect it, it's fairly easy to play pitch and catch.
First down, New England. Timpson made the first down reception on 3rd and long. 6-0 Cincinnati. 8:44 in the first quarter, and Bledsoe calls a timeout. He had enough time, I believe. The play clock was at 8 seconds. He must have had some sort of mix-up in his personnel. So New England takes its first timeout of the half. Parcells and company trailing by 6.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by the totally new Ford Contour, a world car for the 21st century. By AT&T, we help put your world within reach. By Budweiser, Beechwood Age for a crisp, clean, classic taste. And by Taco Bell, tacos, burritos, and nachos. Cross the border.
Tom Hammond, Chris Collinsworth at Riverfront Stadium. First quarter, 8:40 remaining, 6-0 Cincinnati. Beautiful afternoon in the Queen City. Bledsoe's pass complete again to Timpson. He's been the primary target. Fumbles the football, but it was down. No turnover. The Bengals came up with it, but it's ruled down, and the Patriots will have a first down.
I thought it was a good call, but a very late whistle by the officials. He definitely hadn't blown the whistle. Mike Brim's going to come up and strip the football.
That should be a fumble. His knee was not down. Close.
It was definitely coming out.
From the 46, first down, New England. But tackled by Alfred Williams.
The ultimate dilemma for Ray Perkins, the offensive coordinator. He knows Bill Parcells, his head coach, wants to establish a running game. They want to give Marion Butts the football. But again, they're behind 6-0 as they have been in their other football games, and forced to go to your #1 asset, which is the hottest quarterback, or one of the hottest quarterbacks in football right now, that young man, Drew Bledsoe.
Although not a great start, 50% of his passes, and had one picked off. Bledsoe with time. Fingertip catch made by Vincent Frisbee right in front of Rod Jones. Oh, that was pretty.
Check that man for Stick'em. Drew Bledsoe, like he always does. Watch the arm. Boom. Whips that thing out there and somehow catches it cleanly. If that was not a clean catch, he would have been out of bounds, but he snagged it so cleanly they gave him the first step. Great catch.
Patriots driving, first down at the Cincinnati 34. They trail by 6. Play action fake to Butts. Bledsoe rolls and then gets rid of it off the hand of Turner, incomplete. Dan Wilkinson, Big Daddy, was bearing down on Bledsoe, and the ball bounced off Turner, incomplete.
Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson, everybody watching him, so many people expecting him to take over and begin to dominate. He has not done that so far. Probably felt pretty good for Big Daddy to get a shot on a quarterback. No sacks so far for this Bengals team the entire season.
2 games and most of a quarter without a sack. Bledsoe's pass threads it complete to Ben Coates, his first reception, and the 18th of the season. Let's go to New York now, where Greg Gumbel has an update for us. Greg?
All right, Tom, Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh on the opening kickoff. Now, Marshall Faulk isn't the only Indianapolis Colt who can run. This is Ronald Humphrey, 95 yards with the kickoff return. The extra point puts the Colts on top of the Steelers, 7-0 in the first quarter. Tom and Chris, back to you.
All right, Greg, and boy, the new rules on kickoffs have really put a charge in that phase of the game. Excellent choice by the NFL powers. Coates took it away from the defense and has it to the 17-yard line. He just took it away from the defenders, and Ricardo McDonald finally had to make the tackle on Ben Coates.
The Bengals know he's going to get the football. The Patriots know they're going to throw him the football, and somehow he still makes the play. Now up over 300 yards. It took Ben Coates until game 8 of last year to get over 300 yards receiving. Just been phenomenal so far. As good as Drew Bledsoe.
Bledsoe's pass is complete. Close to a first down to Timpson. Ridden out of bounds by Rod Jones, and Timpson already having a big day. The Patriots have only 3 wide receivers activated for the game: Brisby, Timpson, and Crittenden.
I'll tell you, Drew Bledsoe just continues to impress. Bill Parcells said that this year there's more of a presence in him. The guy just looks like a quarterback on the field, taking charge in the huddle. The guy's starting to believe in him. That's the true mark of a quarterback.
And his game management, he said, much better. 7. Marion Butts stopped just short of the goal line. Butts, that punishing type runner, nearly 250 pounds. Steve Tovar in the center of the defense to make the stop.
One of his coaches at FSU called him John Dillinger in headgear. That's pretty appropriate. The offensive line,
Reporting to an eligible position.
they just love blocking for a big guy like that. They know if they can spring him into the secondary, defensive backs running high.
And, of course, preseason knee surgery. In his years in San Diego, 5 of them, he was the leading rusher all 5 years. On the toss, Turner gets a block, and Butts gets the touchdown. Impressive drive by the New England Patriots. They mix run and pass, and Butts takes it in for the score.
What an impressive block by Kevin Turner on Darrell Williams. Darrell Williams, the free safety, may be the hardest hitter on this football team. Kevin Turner gets outside leverage and just uncorks on Darrell Williams. A stroll in for Marion Butts.
Third rushing touchdown of the season for Butts. Matt Barr for the extra point puts the Patriots in front. Marion Butts with the clincher of a beautiful Patriot drive. New England leads 7-6.
Marion Butts, who just scored that last touchdown, one time snapped his leg in high school. They took him to a local hospital. The doctor couldn't find a pulse, and there right in front of Marion Butts actually started talking about amputating his leg. Things went another direction. He said he started to pray and figures now that God had bigger plans for him somewhere down the line.
Told him he'd never play again at the time. Darnay Scott returning O'Neill's kick to the 25-yard line. The Bengals will set up thanks to Doug Pelfrey's miss, trailing by 1 at 7-6. Tackle made by David Bavaro on special teams for New England.
Well, once again, New England's offense answers the problems of New England's defense. Now the test to see whether or not this New England defense can finally shut someone down. They have really struggled. The offense has been there for them all season long. David Klingler not off to the greatest of starts either.
David Shula telling us yesterday that they hope to go downfield more, as you said earlier, something they have not done this season. And facing a good team to do it against. Klingler pumps, steps up, and completes it to Pickens. He's racked on the hit by Harlan Barnett, but holds on to the football for a Cincinnati first down.
At one time, they questioned the toughness of David Klingler. Here he bides his time and eventually comes back to a spot that is always going to be open against the zone defense right in the middle of the field. It just takes a lot of time for the receiver to get there. Nice job up front by the Bengals to give David Klingler that time.
Draw play to Green. Green, nice cutback, still on his feet. All the way to the 43-yard line. A gain of 12 and another first down. Marty Moore and Myron Guyton finally tripped him up.
The running back rotation goes on for the Bengals. They continue to play all three. Broussard already with the touchdown. Harold Green now getting his opportunity. Derek Fenner. None of the three too happy with their situation, but that's what David Shula has decided to do with his backfield.
Well, the Bengals biting off huge chunks against the New England defense on this series. Green on the sweep, gets a block at the point of attack, and then the pursuit of the Patriots catches up to limit him to about 3 yards. Vincent Brown will have the tackle. Brown closing in on 600 career tackles. Each of the last 3 seasons been the top stop man for the Pats.
And Tom, it's really hard for me to understand why this Patriots defense has been so much worse this year than what they have been in years past. Went over some of the personnel with Bill Parcells yesterday. He said Vincent Brown isn't having a Vincent Brown kind of year. Our secondary certainly not living up to the expectations when we got these guys off the free agent market.
Play action pass from Klingler. Knocked away from Pickens by Ricky Reynolds. There's a pretty good defensive play in the secondary of New England.
Ricky Reynolds, one of the free agents that was signed in the secondary for the Patriots this year, along with Myron Guyton. You see the numbers for Parcells. This is a very disturbing trend.
3rd and 7 for Cincinnati. They have converted both of their previous third downs. Broussard short of the first down by about a yard at the 35 of New England, tackled by Vincent Brown. It's going to be 4th down and about a yard for the Bengals.
And here's where that new rule comes into effect, Tom. If you miss the field goal, it goes back to the spot of the kick. So the Patriots would have gotten the ball back on about the 42, 43-yard line. The rule intended to make teams go for it on 4th down, and it's working.
Cincinnati will go for it, 4th and 1. 1:47 left, opening quarter. New England leads 7-6. Klingler will pass 4th and 1, and it's incomplete. Intended for Darnay Scott, who is defended by Vincent Brown. Klingler incomplete on 4th and 1, and the Patriots will take over. Are you surprised they went to the air?
I'm not so surprised that they went to the air. I was surprised they didn't get any kind of a run fake out of it. obviously looking for play action in that situation.
First 4th down in 5 tries that the Bengals have not converted this season. 1:38 left, opening quarter in Cincinnati. New England up 7-6. Oktoberfest weekend in the Queen City. Producer David Michaels, director Larry Cavallina, sampling a Metwurst and a Bratwurst or 2 yesterday. Bledsoe's pass to Butts. Beautiful open field tackle by Mike Grimm for no gain on Marion Butts.
Mike Grimm was pretty vocal about the Bengals and their organization after the loss to San Diego last week. He laid into everybody from his teammates to Mike Brown, the general manager of the football team. Of course, this is the team furthest under the salary cap, and I think probably quietly a lot of his teammates applauded that remark.
Around $5 million under the cap. Draw play to Butts. Running over his own blockers. Finally stacked up by Williams and Francis. David Shula's reply to Mike Grimm was, after you play the perfect game, feel free to criticize others in the organization.
Say what you please then. Dave Shula, for the first time really since he's been in Cincinnati, under a little bit of fire here. This is a team that won only 3 games a year ago, and expectations were a little more than that this year.
Nickel defense on for the Bengals. 3rd and 7. 3 wides for the Pats. Bledsoe rifles it to Coates for a first down. Tackled at midfield by Darrell Williams.
Well, the Bengals' plan for today was to hammer Ben Coates off the line of scrimmage. They never wanted to allow him a free release. That time John Johnson missed, didn't get his eyes back around to the quarterback, and Ben Coates is becoming absolutely one of the best tight ends in football.
And that play will bring the first quarter to an end. New England driving on the Bengals at the end of 1, leading 7-6.
It's time once again to sign up for the 94 Gatorade Punt, Pass, and Kick competition. It's open to boys and girls ages 8 to 15 with local competition held in every NFL city. No charge for participation. Call 1-800-NFL-SNAP.
Ready to start the second quarter in Cincinnati. Patriots up 7-6 on Cincinnati. Big Daddy and the defensive unit of the Bengals looking for their first sack of the season. The only team in the league not to have one. Kevin Turner gets the call and is stopped by John Copeland and others on the defensive front of Cincinnati.
Kevin Turner may be more valuable to this football team as a receiver than he is a running back. He's the guy, along with Ben Coates, that when they try to take Ben Coates away, which is going to happen more and more frequently, Kevin Turner has to be able to come out of the backfield and make the plays. They like to play that tight end fullback combination in New England.
Bledsoe across the middle and complete to Brisby. Vincent Brisby in the center of the Cincinnati defense. Dragged down by Rod Jones, but he has a New England first down inside the Cincinnati 30-yard line.
Well, Bill Parcells called Drew Bledsoe clueless last year. It's like he's beginning to get things figured out.
Kevin Turner back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Steve Tovar got penetration to cut the legs out from under Kevin Turner. And it'll be 2nd and 10.
This is a good situation, though, for Ray Perkins and the Patriots. They know they can move the football in the air. They've had success already against this Bengals defense. They're up by a point in this ball game against a team that they should beat, quite frankly, this afternoon. And so it gives Ray Perkins a chance to try to establish that running game. They know they can't rely on the pass alone.
Bledsoe for the end zone. Overshoots Vincent Brisby, incomplete.
I thought Drew Bledsoe bailed out just a tad early on that play. The Bengals came with the blitz. He had it fairly well picked up, and Drew had a chance to hold that ball maybe 1 second longer. It looked like his receiver was going to break open, was open against man-to-man coverage, and just bailed on it a tad early.
3rd and 10 coming up from New England. They get Leroy Thompson into the backfield for Butts, Timpson, Crittenden, and Brisby in the game. Thompson tries to turn the corner and cannot. Fumble the football, still loose. Still no signal. Rod Jones came away with it.
He's got some signal for him. I think they're going to say the ball bounced out of bounds and then was kicked back in. And if that's the case, it would be New England's ball, and they'll get a shot at a field goal.
An out-of-bounds defensive player touched the ball. It becomes a fumble out of bounds. The ball still belongs to New England.
So it wasn't the ball that went out of bounds. It was a Cincinnati player that touched it while he was out of bounds. Good call by the officials. At that point, the player becomes an extension of the ball. If he's touching it while out of bounds, then the ball is out of bounds.
First field goal attempt of the season for New England. Matt Barr, 44 yards, and good. Matt Barr hits his first field goal attempt of 1994, extending the New England lead to 10-6. Welcome back to Cincinnati. David Shula's Bengals trailing now by 4. While we were away, he was arguing that last fumble call pretty strenuously. It was ruled New England's ball, and they get the field goal. Pat O'Neill to kick off for the Patriots. Bounces at about the 12. Scott will pick it up on the hop. Darnay Scott pushing Eric Ball in front of him back to the 28-yard line. And while we were away after the field goal, this is what took place with David Shula.
He's not talking about how much he likes his new hat either. Thanks.
Here's the play.
The fumble, really, the fumble created without even a hit. Leroy Thompson just losing control. It's a good call by the officials. They get it right. Lay the groundwork, though. Maybe you get a call later.
Bengals put it in play from their own 28-yard line, trailing 10-6. Klingler down the sideline. Pickens fighting with Maurice Hurst for position, and the pass falls incomplete.
Well, a little unusual in that Carl Pickens is really not the swiftest of the receivers. They drafted Darnay Scott, a little hesitate and go, to be their deep threat. Maurice Hurst just absolutely all over this one. He and Bill Parcells have gone at it a few times over contracts and various such issues, but no question about his ability as a corner.
Beautiful play that time by Maurice. Second down pass, Klingler completes it to Jeff Query. That's only a gain of 5 or 6 yards, hit immediately by Ricky Reynolds and Willie McGinnis. Klingler now has hit 4 of his 9 pass attempts.
And Willie McGinnis getting a chance to play again this afternoon. He came out so spectacularly. I think it was the first exhibition game, had 3 sacks. Since then he's had some knee and hamstring problems, but he's healthier now, and they expect him to play a little more than he has, about 30 plays per game so far.
4th player taken in the draft from USC. Klingler steps away. Caught from behind at the line of scrimmage by McGinnis, the rookie linebacker.
And there you see the speed. Already a half a sack on the season. There's just no substitute for it in this game, especially at the outside linebacker position. Bill Parcells really builds his defense around outside linebackers. He likes to get the 2 gapping push up the middle with his interior 3, and then he loves to have that great speed on the outside. Chris Slade's been playing much better so far this season at one side, and if McGinnis can pick it up on the other, it would be a great combination.
Lee Johnson's first punt fielded by Ray Crittenden. Backpedals to try to get room and can't. Ridden out of bounds at the 30-yard line by John Johnson. There's a penalty flag back upfield. Looks like it'll be against Cincinnati. We'll see if the Patriots will make them kick over.
I don't think so. With the way Lee Johnson's been kicking this year, that's not bad field position.
Ineligible downfield on the kick. Number 51. 5 yards, 4th down.
Like I said.
Right on the money as usual. You were just concentrating on those new hats the officials are wearing. Distracted you.
Yeah.
We can get you one of those.
That was it. We'll see, though. The ball would have been on the 30-yard line for the Patriots. I like how I continue to follow through on this point so I can make a complete fool of myself.
We can also get you one of those bow ties that the officials are wearing today.
Look at that.
Johnson will boot it again. He is averaging almost 47 yards a punt this season. Sailing that one back to about the 26-yard line. Crittenden, nowhere to go. Jumps to the outside and finally gets it to the 32-yard line. So they gained a couple of yards on the penalty. Timeout with 10:50 left in the half. It's 10-6.
Quit smiling.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Dodge. The more things change, the more things look like the new Dodge. By Burger King. Value every day. Have it your way. By Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by Castrol Syntec, the full synthetic motor oil that protects in ways other oils can't.
From the Queen City of Cincinnati, Tom Hammond, Chris Collinsworth, 10:50 to go, second quarter. 10-6 game, New England on top. And with the football, first down at their own 32. Marion Butts tries the right side. The Bengals ready for him. New England began sluggishly with a turnover on their first possession of the game, an interception thrown by Bledsoe, but since then have gotten points. A beautiful drive for a touchdown that went a good portion of the field, and a field goal. First of the season for New England.
See if the big guys up front now can establish something for New England.
Bledsoe's pass overshooting Vincent Brisby. Bledsoe missed that one.
You know, the interesting thing is that Bob Cratch, who came over from the Giants, played with Bill Parcells there, now the offensive guard of the Patriots, told us that, said, heck, because I know everybody always thinks offensive linemen would rather run the football. He said, I'd rather throw it. There's no reason to run in there and bang your head and get a headache every play. Just drop back when you got a guy like Drew Bledsoe. Let him do his thing.
Cratch was courted by the Bengals in the offseason. Chose to rejoin Bill Parcells. Flag down. Bledsoe's pass complete to Timpson. It'll be enough for a first down to the 45 if it stands. Rod Jones made the tackle. The offside against Cincinnati. They were coming with a blitz and maybe started a little early. It is against.
Penalty is declined. First down.
Steve Tovar trying to come on the blitz right over Bob Cratch. Just leaned his melon a little too far in there. But did you see the throw by Drew Bledsoe? Standing absolutely vertical, not stepping into it at all, just flipping it with his wrist through a BB about 15, 20 yards.
12 to be exact. First down, New England. Butts opened up for a moment, then wrestled down at midfield by Jones and Oliver.
Marion Butts, his high school football coach, called him a momentum getter. And that's exactly what he is. When he gets that momentum going downfield, grab anything you can, his helmet, jersey, whatever it takes.
Florida State, he mostly blocked for Sammy Smith. Had his chance to run the football as a pro and has become one of the premier tough inside running backs. Bledsoe's pass, a little touch on that one to Coates. He has another New England first down, out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Lewis Oliver ran him out, but Bledsoe showed you a little touch on that pass.
Well, I don't know if the Bengals are just breaking down or exactly what's happening, but Ben Coates, the game plan coming in was to take him out from the Cincinnati Bengals standpoint. They were going to hammer him, drill him, not let him off the line of scrimmage, and So far, he's made almost every big play.
Already has 3 or 4 receptions in the game. Butts stopped at the line of scrimmage by Tim Crumrye.
You know, Tom, the amazing thing about Ben Coates is that he's probably a better blocker than he is a receiver. He took over for Marv Cook, who was a great tight end in New England for a long, long time, mainly because of the fact that he could block. Had an interesting quote. He said that I know for a fact that I'm as good as the all-pros, and I think I block a little better than they do. I asked him about that yesterday, and he sort of backed down.
Bledsoe's pass complete to Turner on one knee. He gets up and rambles close to a first down before Francis can pin him to the turf. Turner went on one knee to make the reception and then got scrambling toward the first down marker. Will be just a little short.
The offensive line for the Patriots doing a nice job with the pass protection.
Reporting to an eligible position. Number 70. Number 70, man.
That's Brandon Moore, normally a tackle, reporting as a tight end on this 3rd and 1. But didn't get much, but only needed a yard. Trying to pull him back with the defenders. Ty Parton trying to pull him backwards while Steve Tovar was blasting from in front of Marion. It will be just enough for the first down. Perhaps. We may have to measure. Let's see. Now it's signaled first down, New England.
Marion Butts has been doing a nice job running the football for the Patriots. He has had some problems in the pass protection scheme, though. His missed block last week cost the Patriots a touchdown and ultimately could have cost them that game.
Butts is only averaging 2 yards a carry today. 10 carries, 22 yards. They're resetting the play clock. That's the reason for the delay. First down, New England from the 27 of Cincinnati. Just under 7 minutes left in the first half. 10-6 New England. Bledsoe off his back foot. Fires it complete to Coates. No, now it goes loose. I thought he had it. Francis hit him, and I thought Coates had it for a moment, but the ball bounced free.
James Francis, a former basketball player at Baylor, every bit the athlete that Ben Coates is. Again, they're giving him the free release off the field, or off the ball. And it looked like Francis may have just knocked down Ben Coates' arm. Look at the easy flip by Drew Bledsoe. What a dynamite arm he has. Good play on that one by James Francis.
10th play of the New England drive. It's 2nd and 10. Bledsoe finds Gibson in the middle of the field. A gain of 10, racked by Lewis Oliver, but holding on is Michael Timpson for his 5th catch of the day. 5 catches, 56 yards for Timpson, and he takes the tough hit over the middle.
Well, this is part of the way you make your living in the National Football League if you're a wide receiver. The good ones hang on to these. Little face mask in the dirt.
He's about half a yard short of the first down, maybe only a foot or two. Well, half a yard would be a foot and a half, wouldn't it? Timeout taken by Cincinnati. Bengals call a timeout, wanting to get the proper defense on the field. It'll be 3rd and short for the Patriots when we come back. Patriots threatening to add to their lead here in the 2nd quarter. 3rd and 1 at the Bengals 17. Butts and Turner, the split backs. Turner thrown back by Eric Shaw and others on the Cincinnati defense. They'll unstack them and spot the football. This will be close.
They've struggled running the football all season. Bill Parcells trying hard to make this into a running football team. I don't know if he'll be able to get it accomplished or not.
It's frustrated him too, hasn't it?
Oh, boy, you could tell just talking to him. He said, I know you guys enjoy those big shootout kind of games, but I don't.
They'll call in the chain to measure. And it will be short. So now the decision, kick the field goal or go for it on 4th and less than a yard. They've converted 1 of 2 4th downs this season.
I'll bet you Bill Parcells comes back and runs the same type of play again. He wants to establish something with this football team, a little toughness.
This time they're in the eye. Turner is the up back. Butts is the tailback. Butts behind Turner. First down and then some to the 12-yard line. Steve Tovar hanging on for dear life.
And that may be the last 3rd down and short that Kevin Turner ever gets to run the football. When you've got a big guy like Marion Butts and a good blocker like Kevin Turner, it just makes sense. Well, when you've struggled as a head football coach, not only this year but in years past, you got to take on many hats. One of them is cheerleader as well.
This crowd is about as dead as I've seen in some time. But then so are the Bengals. Leroy Thompson, very little. Tim Krumrie made the stop. And the Bengals continue to play pretty tough run defense against New England.
A little combination of both. I think the Bengals are playing pretty well, but the Patriots really struggling. They haven't run the football. And Bruce Armstrong's a guy that used to be such a devastating run blocker, the left tackle. But after that knee surgery, I just don't know if he's ever gotten quite back to form.
14th play of the drive coming up. Flags down, play stopped. It'll be illegal procedure against the Patriots. Step off 5 yards.
Prior to the snap, number 87 offense. 5 yards, 2nd down.
Ben Coates trying to get a head start.
Well, when you play against the Bengals, you get a little antsy and try and pad your stats all you can. Jumped up a little quickly there. This Patriots offensive line, though, has been hurt by guys that really haven't produced for them. Eugene Chong and Todd Rucci, both guys that were one drafted in the 1st round, the other in the 2nd round, and neither of those players active. So some disappointments from previous drafts.
Mark it back at the 16 now. And a timeout taken by Cincinnati. They had a substitution, couldn't get a man off the field. A moment ago, they had to call timeout because they only had 10 men on the field. Now they had 12 and had to take a timeout. Whoa, things are getting rough here in Cincinnati. Maybe Greg Gumbel has some better news. Greg?
Well, Tom, only if you're a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Neil O'Donnell rolls to the near side. 27 yards later, Eric Green makes the catch in the end zone, his 21st career touchdown reception. That's a record for Steeler tight ends. 14-7. Colts lead is cut in half. Tom and Chris?
All right, Greg, so I guess that's further bad news for the Bengals, one of their division opponents.
Well, when things start going too bad for the local team, you start cheering for the teams that are around you. So the Cleveland and Pittsburgh, now you sort of have an affinity for them.
It becomes a matter of geography, huh? Well, Indianapolis is not too far away either.
That's true.
Well, Drew Bledsoe has the Patriots on the move again, but facing a 2nd and 14 with the clock showing 4:12 left in the 1st half. Drew Bledsoe really coming into his own and an introspective sort. In fact, he had a long drive back home to Pullman, Washington in the offseason, time to think about things and think about how involved he wanted to be in this whole NFL scene.
Yeah, he said he stopped at a Greasy Spoon, though, doesn't like a lot of publicity, and some guy asked him where he lived and how he worked and what he did, and he finally told him. The guy didn't believe him, made him pull out his driver's license.
Blitz coming, flags down. So Bledsoe cornered at this Nebraska truck stop.
Prior to the snap, number 77 offense.
Pat Harlow guilty that time. pulled out his driver's license to prove that he was indeed an NFL quarterback. And he said, though, the catch-22 of this whole situation for him is that he fights for wins, which brings more recognition, which means he can't be anonymous anymore when he goes to the Red Sox games or whatever. He's recognized, and that's what he doesn't like. So it is a catch-22 situation for him.
He said he went to the Red Sox game one time and was sitting there quietly, everybody leaving him alone, and then one of the peanut guys said, "Hey, Drew," and threw him a free bag of peanuts, and that was it. All the kids started coming down. He signed autographs, lasted about another inning.
And then had to go home. For the end zone, Bledsoe just throws it away. Incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd and long.
In case you're wondering, that is not intentional grounding because of the fact there was no pressure on him at the time. It's interesting what he was telling us yesterday, that last year there were plenty of times that he was confused on the football field, and he said that this year he can't remember a single time that he didn't feel like he was in control.
Well, he's got to convert a long one here. 3rd and 19. He's hit 14 of his 22 passes, 150 yards. Rifles it. Turner came back to catch the football. He'll be short of the first down. Rod Jones made sure he didn't get up. But a nice effort by Kevin Turner, who is the 2nd leading receiver on the season for New England behind Coates.
Yeah, and a good call that time by Ray Perkins. Very difficult to get the touchdown thrown into a 4-deep secondary, so all you do is you make the field goal a little easier. This throw was just given to them on the sideline. You see the defensive back, Rod Jones, backing up into the end zone. Take it, make it a little easier for Matt Barr.
24-yard attempt by Barr, who had a 43-yarder before. Hit the upright and went through.
Did he call back?
13-6. O'Neal ready to kick off for New England. A Matt Barr field goal, the 2nd of the day, has upped their lead to 13-6. And Cincinnati desperately looking for a spark. Crowd is dead. The team, have they given up?
I don't think they've given up yet. The problem is they're just a little less talented than most others. Remember, this Patriots team played 2 of the better teams in the National Football League the first 2 weeks in Miami and Buffalo. I definitely put them at least mid-level in the NFL.
Ball and Scott awaiting the O'Neal kick. Scott at the goal line. Nice return by Darnay Scott, 30 yards as he gets it out to give him pretty good field position for this last-minute second quarter drive. Well, move over Joe Montana, a 7-minute drive for a field goal engineered by Drew Bledsoe.
You've been waiting since last week to say that, haven't you? You waited till we get on camera to embarrass me in front of everybody in the greater Boston area.
Well, that's what you said last week about Ron Paulus of Notre Dame.
Let's do this, Dad. You're killing me. Absolutely killing me. Move over Tom Hammond.
David Klingler running for the sideline, makes the line of scrimmage and not much more. Good coverage downfield by that much maligned Patriot secondary. Klingler had time before the coverage broke down, but no one was open.
I think they're going to put that phrase on my tombstone.
which could be imminent, by the way. There's the total yards in the game. No surprise to see New England racking up the yards. But Cincinnati, facing the NFL's worst defense, was expecting more. Inside the 3-minute mark here in the first half. Klingler in the flat to Fenner with a blocker in front. Screen pass works for Cincinnati. Fenner tripped up at his own 49 by Myron Guyton. So Klingler gets the screen to Fenner, and it nets 19 yards.
Screens and draws so far have been the solution for this Bengals offense. There you see the inside move by Aaron Jones. That's what set up the screen. And
the Bengals in a hurry with their offense. Pass caught by Jim McGee. McGee close to a 10-yard gain, tackled by Maurice Hurst. 2-minute offense working for Cincinnati.
Yeah, why not? You get a little emotion on the field. Sam White used to do this a lot in Cincinnati just to give his offense a spark. Bruce Coslett, of course, now back as the offensive coordinator. He was also the offensive coordinator of the '88 team that won the AFC Championship.
Close to the first down, they'll stop time to measure. And it gives us a chance to remind you to stay tuned at halftime for the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime reports. Greg Gumbel, Mike Ditka will have the scores and highlights. And they'll take a look at John Elway, the Broncos quarterback. That's the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. 2:10 on the clock, and the Bengals right up to the line and ready to go. Klingler steps up and hits his tight end, Tony McGee. He has the Cincinnati first down to the 21. Chris Slade made the stop, but Klingler hot here in the 2-minute offense. We'll take a timeout for the 2-minute warning. Bengals trying to cut into the 13-6 New England lead. Bengals showing new life with a chance to tie in the final 2 minutes of the half. The 2-minute offense run to perfection by David Klingler. Hit all 3 of his passes on this drive for 47 yards. Klingler steps up and hits Fenner. Derek Fenner races to the sideline and gets out of bounds after about 6 or 7 yards. Dwayne Sabb was the man in hot pursuit.
Tom, I can't believe the difference in defenses just 4 or 5 years after I've gotten out of football. It used to be that everybody played man-to-man coverage and blitz when they got down in the red zone. Now everyone is dropping back 8 people into the end zone and making it difficult for you to try and find a hole in the zone. That time the Patriots rushing only 3. Klingler had plenty of time to get it off.
2nd and 5 for the Bengals. Green in motion. Klingler to pass. Fenner again, one-on-one with a linebacker, wrestled down right at the first down marker. That was Marty Moore, the rookie from Kentucky that has played so well. Went one-on-one against Fenner, and Moore draws a hand from the crowd. He is from nearby Fort Thomas, Kentucky.
Played at Highlands High School here locally. His mom in the stands, and Marty admits that not even his family will sit with mom during one of these games. She goes a little crazy.
50 tickets Marty had for today's game. First down, Cincinnati. Fenner, first down run inside the 10-yard line, a couple of yards gained. Sabb again with the stop as the clock continues to roll. Remember, the Bengals had to take 2 timeouts with a defensive mix-up earlier in the quarter. Here's the hurry-up as Patriots scatter to try to get off the field in time. They do. Klingler, touchdown, Pickens. 8-yard Carl Pickens in the end zone where he had beaten Rod Smith.
Carl Pickens working one-on-one. The over move by Rod Smith as he tried to break in front, and Pickens just with a little slide on the back end.
Pelfrey, remember, missed his first extra point attempt, but this one splits the uprights, and the Bengals, counted down and out, have come back to tie the score at 13. Pickens, and give Klingler credit, he put the ball right where it had to be, where only Pickens can get it. We're tied, and the crowd is finally into it. How quickly things can turn around. Bill Parcells and the Patriots seem to be in control, up 13-6, but the Bengals marched 70 yards in 8 plays, collecting 5 first downs, and then Klingler with a pass to Pickens for the touchdown.
And Parcells has his vein popping out on his neck, so things aren't going to be pleasant.
Klingler bounces right back up to celebrate. He's hit 10 of 14 in the game now, and David Shula saying a little pride at stake for David Klingler, who wants to be counted among the young gun quarterbacks like Drew Bledsoe, Rick Meyer, Heath Shuler coming into the league, Trent Dilfer this year, and Klingler perhaps a little pride on the line here, wanting a big game against Bledsoe and the Patriots. This will be Blair Thomas returning the kickoff. Thomas, a forgotten man for the Patriots, cut down on a beautiful tackle by Eric Ball.
And Tom, you have to know there's about 3 years worth of pent-up frustration in this crowd if they can get something to cheer about. Now let's see if Drew Bledsoe can answer and give his team some momentum going into halftime. It has been the offense that has done the job through the first 2 games.
1:15 as you see in this tie game. Sudden turn of events here. Bledsoe tries to answer the superb Klingler drive. And they're just going to run out the clock. There's a penalty marker down.
Men on the field. Defense.
Even New England trying to run out the clock in Cincinnati with 12 men on the field.
Unbelievable. And now you know what's going to happen. Now the Patriots will go into their offensive mode. So the stupid penalty by the Bengals is now going to give Drew Bledsoe a chance to run his offense.
Earlier, it cost him 2 timeouts, once with 12 men on the field, once with only 10. 3 calls on the defense with mix-up in the substitutions.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's one thing to be 0-2 and another one to play like it. I'll be shocked if they don't give Drew Bledsoe and this offense a chance to put the ball up. They have been so hot and so consistent through the first couple of ball games. You don't want your team going in on a downer of a note and feeling like that you just ran out the clock and didn't have any confidence in your quarterback.
They've got all 3 wide receivers in. Timpson has been the man today. And Coates set wide in this formation. Gets the slant in and is still going. Hit hard finally by Corey Sawyer. But Bledsoe will call timeout to stop the clock after a 23-yard strike to a slanting Ben Coates.
Wow. Ben Coates just dragged Louis Oliver for about 20 yards across the field. Louis Oliver's a 225-pound, big-hitting, strong safety. Ben Coates did take a shot at the end of that play. Looks like he's trying to shake it off, but what power as he ran across the field with Louis Oliver on his back. Nice inside move, big body, so plenty of position here to make the catch.
We missed the end of it there.
And now Louis Oliver just being dragged across the field, and there's a rookie, Corey Sawyer, dazing 250 pounds of Ben Coates.
Coates on the sideline, replaced at tight end by John Burke, the 4th-round draft choice rookie from Virginia Tech. Hope you'll join us next week here on NBC for doubleheader NFL action. Here's the lineup of games. Many of you will see the Dolphins against Warren Moon and the Minnesota Vikings. Other will see the Browns and the Colts tangle. And then 4 o'clock, second game of the doubleheader. Some of you will see with Patriots against Detroit. And others will see the Bengals with their Central Division foe, Houston.
You know, that Miami-Minnesota game, arguably the best offense going up against the best defense in football. Patriots fans may not want to hear that. They may believe this is the best offense.
Well, statistically it is coming into this weekend's games. Bledsoe's pass incomplete. Low for Vincent Brisby. Stops the clock with 52 seconds. Sawyer was right with Brisby.
It's the only bad throw I've seen out of Drew Bledsoe so far today. He has so much confidence in that arm that even on some of the longer throws, he just wants to do that little flip with his wrist. That time he needs to step into it a little more.
Bledsoe from Walla Walla, Washington, 16 of 25. Zips it to the sideline, complete for a Patriot first down to Ray Crittenden. Clock stops at 47.
Matt Barr last year, his longest field goal from 48 yards, his career long 54, but that was much earlier in his career, so you would think they need to get to about the 30-yard line to give him a legitimate shot, or about another 11 yards. Drew Bledsoe is still thinking touchdown.
Ball's at the 41 of Cincinnati. Nearly intercepted. Brisby, the intended receiver. Rod Jones was there defending with Corey Sawyer. Jones made a run at the football and nearly had it.
Rod Jones, a guy they Had the worst nickname I've ever heard for a defensive back. They used to call him Toast because he got burned so much. A former #1 draft pick of the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers gave up on him. But since coming over to Cincinnati, has really become a much better corner.
42 seconds, it's second down. One pump from Bledsoe, ducks away from the rush and hits Leroy Thompson, racing to the sideline and out of bounds with a first down at around the 31. Ty Parton was all over Bledsoe, and somehow he got free to complete the pass.
Very big and strong quarterback. They tried to go with the pump fake up over the top. Nice job of Bruce Armstrong just staying with his man. That one extra push is what allowed that play to happen. Now they do have it to the 30-yard line.
Bledsoe has gone over 200 yards passing here in the first half, closing in on his 4th straight 300-yard day. Flags down. David Braxton was offside. It'll be 1st and 5 now. No, they're going to call it against New England. So penalty against Leroy Thompson for a false start.
That's a neutral zone infraction against the defense. No false start. 5 yards.
Well, that's what I said.
You got it right.
That's the new rule.
Well, what happened was the blitz was coming, jumped over the line of scrimmage, and then Bob Cratch, or Bruce Armstrong, excuse me, is going to flinch. That this year is an infraction on the defense. In years past would have been on the offense.
Exactly right. New rule, 1st and 5, Parcells and the Patriots. Ball's at the 25 of Cincinnati. Already field goal range. Bledsoe wants more. He's got a man. Crittenden. Incomplete. Wow.
If there's ever been a question about Ray Crittenden, it's his hands. The former soccer player, great soccer player at Virginia Tech, has all the speed to make this happen. Absolutely perfectly thrown. Where you want it, over the outside shoulder, a drop.
Tipped at the line and incomplete. Braxton.
When you're playing against a team like the Bengals that have so much to overcome emotionally, been so bad for so long, you can't give up great opportunities like Ray Crittenden just did. They had a chance to take a touchdown lead going into halftime, and now all of a sudden this Bengals defense finding a little extra life.
Second tip pass in the game of Cincinnati. It sets up a 3rd and 5. 24 seconds left. Tie game first half. Bledsoe intercepted. Intercepted by Fernandez Vincent of the Cincinnati Bengals. Timed it perfectly. Second interception of the day. Darrell Williams, excuse me, it's Williams with the interception. Second interception of the day by the Cincinnati defense. Williams just freelancing in the secondary.
And we're seeing a lot more movement out of the safeties. Absolutely never saw him. That was a play in which it looked like Darrell Williams was helping on the deep man, followed Drew Bledsoe's eyes. And you see Ray Crittenden. Boy, what a turnaround at the end of this half.
He dropped a touchdown pass. Interception gives the ball back to Cincinnati, so New England had a chip shot field goal to take the lead. Instead, we'll end the first half tied at 13. Ray Crittenden dropped a touchdown pass. And just when it seemed that the Patriots had things in control, Klingler marches the Bengals down the field to tie the game. At the end of the first half, 13-13. We'll have more after this message from your local.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. When it's gotta be good and it's gotta be now, it's gotta be Domino's.
We welcome you back to the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report. An interesting game today matches the 0-2 Raiders against the 0-2 Broncos in Denver. Earlier this week, I spoke with Denver's John Elway about the rough start and about today's game with the Raiders.
12 years here in Denver, you have never experienced an 0-2 start. What's it like?
Tough.
You know, and I think that, you know, especially with the high expectations that we had coming into the year, and it's tough, but it's also been awful shocking the way we've lost the first two. I think, you know, we played a heck of a lot better last week against the Jets, but then the first week against San Diego with a couple things that we had happen to us, and especially right there at the end of the game, I think that has really added to the trauma of being 0-2, so that's made it awful tough.
What do you attribute it to? Bad luck, new receivers, bad judgment?
Well, I think one was bad judgment, and, you know, then the ball always leaves my hands, so, I mean, I'm going to be responsible for those things. And, you know, there's certain things in the game of football where you don't see guys, and different things happen to where, you know, I'm still responsible for them. You know, the Jets against, when he ran it back, Mo ran it back for the touchdown, I didn't see him, you know, and that's just one of those things. But you have a tendency when some bad things start happening to you that you go, oh boy, here we go again. And you know, I think that a positive outlook can get rid of those negative things. That if we continue to accentuate the positive and go out and have some fun and relax a little bit and play to our capabilities, and all of a sudden those bad things turn into good things and it gets you over the hump. So, you know, I think we'll continue to work on that.
So now the Raiders come to town. And is it too early in the season to talk about this being a real important game?
I think it's a cop-out if you don't. We've got the guys and the character on this football team that wants to win as bad as anybody in the league, but I also think we can inhibit what we do if we sit there and continue to hammer ourselves and get ourselves down and say what a big game, and say that, you know, if it doesn't work out against the Raiders and we're 0-3, we don't want to say, well, we made that last game our season. Yeah, it's a big game, but it's also a balancing act to realize that, you know, we can't put too much pressure on ourselves to where we don't go out and compete.
This is an Al Davis quote. The Broncos can't beat us on or off the field.
You know, it's kind of funny, and I've never met Al Davis, and, you know, I think that the one reason why I always had a lot of respect for Al Davis is because he made a big run to get me out of college. You know, and I mean, 2 hours before the draft, they said you're going to be a Raider, and then it ends up not going through. So all I can say is I'd love to have Al Davis come out and play middle linebacker if he wants to get out there, but it's awful easy to talk that stuff from the press box. But if it's a guy that's on the field, then maybe you respect it. But a guy sitting in the box, you just let it run off your back.
You know, if John thinks an 0-2 start in Denver is tough, he doesn't want to see 0-3.
That's right.
But the Raiders, Mike, are supposed to be contenders, Super Bowl contenders this year, and they're being blown away. They aren't nearly the team that everyone has them touted.
Well, you know, there's a lot of reasons for that, but let me point out a couple. First of all, the first two games, Greg, they've given up over 60 points with their defense. They play a lot of man-to-man pressure defense, and that's fine if you can play the defense and cover the receiver and get a pass rush. They're not getting the pass rush. They expected to get one, but they're not getting it. On offense, Hostetler has great tools at the receiving position. His offensive line is not giving him a lot of time to throw the ball, and he doesn't have a running game. That's why they're getting beat.
All right, Mike. Our Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime activities will continue.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. When it's gotta be good and it's gotta be now, it's gotta be Domino's.
Along with Mike Ditka, I'm Greg Gumbel. We welcome you back, and before we send you back to New England versus Cincinnati, let's run down the scores and highlights for you. First at Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami, the Dolphins with a halftime lead over the Jets. 14-0 is the score there. Joe Namath, one of the Jets' honorary captain on this Throwbacks weekend. The Dolphins' opening drive went 15 plays, almost 9 minutes, but it ended when Mo Lewis picked off Dan Marino at the goal line to keep the game scoreless. They are playing in 100-degree temperatures in Miami, and it's showing on the sidelines. Keith Byers has now caught a pass in 106 straight games. This 19-yard completion from Dan Marino went to the 1-yard line and set up Terry Kirby's 1-yard touchdown 2 plays later. It was 7-0 Miami, and then just before halftime, Marino to Byers again. This time 11 yards in the touchdown. The Dolphins' lead at halftime is 14-0. The Dolphins are dominating this game in total yards and in time of possession.
Well, especially in time of possession, but I think that where they're really dominating is they're dominating on defense. Their defense is doing an outstanding job. And that's a credit to their coaching staff because they have a lot of guys hurt on defense. The other guy that plays good week in and week out for us is Keith Byers. Keith Byers, he's probably one of the most valuable assets they traded for in the history of that organization.
All right, Mike, at Soldier Field in Chicago, the Bears and the Minnesota Vikings have gone to the third quarter now. Fuad Reveiz has just kicked his second field goal of the game, and the Vikes lead the Bears 13-0. Earlier in that game, Terry Allen, a 12-yard touchdown run for Minnesota. In Houston, the Oilers making the Buffalo Bills look ugly. 3 Steve Christie field goals is all the Bills have managed today, but the Bills have held the Oilers off the scoreboard, and they lead Houston 9-0 in the third. In Philadelphia, the Eagles trailing the Green Bay Packers 7-3 at halftime. Brett Favre to Reggie Cobb for 37 yards, the game's only touchdown so far in that game. In Pittsburgh, the Steelers have come back from a 14-0 deficit to lead Indianapolis 17-14. Ted Marchibroda of the Colts looking on, and boy, did he get some big plays. The opening kickoff, Ronald Humphrey up the middle to the left and won't stop. He goes 95 yards for the touchdown. Indy's first kickoff return for a touchdown since Clarence Verdun did it in 1991. Neil O'Donnell hit by Tony Bennett here. Quentin Coriat says, thank you oh so much. 78 yards for the touchdown. 2 big plays have the Colts on top, 14-0. But the Steelers hung in, and here's the comeback. O'Donnell on the rollout. His tight end, Eric Green, along the back of the end zone, 27 yards in the touchdown. That cuts Indianapolis' lead in half to 14-7. And then Barry Foster around the right side for 29 yards and a touchdown. 100 yards on 16 carries in the first half for Barry Foster. It is a big lead, or it's a lead for now the Steelers 17-14, and Barry Foster with 104 yards in the first half to just 29 for Marshall Faulk. And one of the things that you notice in this game right off the bat, the Colts with just 6 yards passing in the first half, 47 total yards. The offense isn't clicking the way it should.
Well, they've been totally dominated. I tell you, the one thing that's good for me to see is Barry Foster running that way again. You know, I had a lot of doubts about Foster getting the last season. I thought maybe he wasn't hurt as bad as he was. But evidently he was hurt. And when he's well, he proved that he can run the football with anybody in the league.
All right, Mike, in Cleveland, the Cardinals and the Browns have gone to the third quarter, and the Browns lead the Cardinals by a score of 3-0. Buddy Ball has fizzled so far in Cleveland today. McMahon, 10 of 20 for 83 yards in the first half. A Matt Stover field goal from 33 yards out, the only score of the day for Cleveland. In Cincinnati, the Patriots and the Bengals are tied at 13. The game that you are watching, what do you think about this game? I know you're amazed by Drew Bledsoe and his ability.
Well, Drew Bledsoe is one heck of a football player. I'll tell you the thing that amazes me the most. I'll make a comment on Cincinnati. I think they're playing better. They're playing much harder, much more aggressive, and looks like much smarter football. They're getting better. Whether they're good enough to win the game today, I don't know. But they are playing with much more intensity.
Both these teams 0-2 and looking for win number 1 on the year today. And in Tampa, the New Orleans Saints are leading the Bucs by a score of 9-7. They've gone to the third quarter in that game in Tampa. 9-7 is the second half, right after this message from the National Football League.
I'm Bill Lenkaitis, formerly of the New England Patriots. Back in 1979, I made a United Way spot, and I had my daughters, Christy and Lori, appear with me. I saw my mother suffering with arthritis. And that's why I volunteered to help children with arthritis, working for the Arthritis Foundation in New England. My teammates and I help people in need through the United Way in New England. Over the past 20 years, you've seen my teammates bring you the United Way stories of courage and caring through the Great Moments series. All those stories have one message, that when you give, you also receive. All the people that you've helped over the years through United Way would like to thank you. I brought my daughters with me today to help me thank all of you for your support of the United Way here in New England.
We've seen that all the agencies and programs of the United Way are really helping people who need our help.
This experience growing up with United Way showed us that when you give to United Way, your gift goes on working year after year.
United Way, reaching those who need help, touching us all.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Patriots and Bengals tied at 13 here at halftime as we get ready for the third quarter of play. It's been a game of twists and turns, the advantage swinging back and forth. Bengals had to be encouraged for the last 2 minutes of the half.
And I'll bet you that New England locker room is a little toasty right now. Bill Parcells probably laid into those guys pretty good.
Let's take a look at our Coors Light halftime stats.
No question, the Patriots dominated play in the first half, but the turnovers really killed them in the drop pass as well.
So 2 interceptions thrown by Drew Bledsoe. Darnay Scott with the return of the kick. And, of course, the crucial play at the end of the half for New England was Ray Crittenden open. Bledsoe had the ball right there, and this would have been a touchdown.
Great move right by Mike Brim. It's not an easy catch by any means, but certainly one that you would expect an NFL receiver to make.
And Parcells never one to hide his emotions.
He expected him to make it.
And so we're tied at 13 as the Bengals have the first play of the third quarter from their own 33. Harold Green, a gain of 2. Tim Goad and Mike Pitts from the defensive front of the Patriots make the tackle.
Hard to believe the fall of Harold Green. He was a Pro Bowler in '92 and really just had a horrible year last year, averaged just 2.7 yards per carry. They had so many problems with the offensive line, and he's out to try and prove himself. He tried to get out of here in the worst way. Didn't want to play for Cincinnati anymore, but here once again.
Two fakes by Klingler, pumped once, and this sack back at the 25-yard line by Mike Pitts.
Mike Pitts in the pits, working against Bruce Kozerski, who's playing tackle for the first time. And really, you can't blame that one, though, on Bruce Kozerski. They had the flea flicker on, and David Klingler just decided not to throw it. Carl Pickens in one of those iffy sort of areas down the field. Harlan Barnett not to get burned again this week.
Klingler hit again. The ball comes loose. And the Patriots have it. Aaron Jones hit Klingler. The ball popped free and was recovered by Willie McGinnis, the rookie.
How toasty do you think that New England locker room was, thanks to Bill Parcells? Looks like a different team coming out here to begin the second half. Aaron Jones making a move that only 3.5 sacks last year, and that was a career high for him. Somewhat of a bust with the Steelers.
First round draft
dynamic
pick.
move there.
First round pick that never lived up to expectations, but wow, he looked good on that play.
And Tom Ken Moyer, who has been forced back into the starting offensive lineman role for the Bengals, beaten on that play.
Is malfunctioning. We're getting a replacement.
The down marker, I believe Bob McElwee said.
Interesting choice of terms there by Bob McElwee. Getting a replacement. There's been a lot of talk this past week about replacement officials coming up in the near future.
And the Patriots have busted a few down markers this year, too, with this high-powered offense. A gift here from the Bengals. They start at the 19 of Cincinnati. Marion Butts. Once again, the Cincinnati defense ready for the Butts run. Copeland and Tovar led the defensive charge that time.
It's just so hard for me to sit and watch the New England Patriots offense coached by Bill Parcells that can't run the football. I mean, those two things have always gone together. Bill Parcells and power running. And it's just not working this year.
How do you think he feels?
I know how he feels. He told us.
Play action. Bledsoe threw it behind his man, Michael Timpson. It'll be 3rd and 10.
This is a great opportunity for Cincinnati's defense to make a statement. Their offense comes out, goes directly backwards for 2 plays, gives up the fumble. New England with a chance to grab the early momentum in the second half, but so far the defense of the Bengals up to it.
Patriots have worked the middle of the field, the 10 to 20 yard zone primarily today. Bledsoe, wide open Timpson. Michael Timpson out of bounds around the 10-yard line. It could be about a yard short. Mike Brim forced him out of bounds.
And Timpson had a chance to make the catch there and turn it up the field, but he just couldn't regain his balance as he went to make the catch. Looked like he was stumbling a little bit, maybe concerned about getting his feet down in bounds, and was never able to gain his balance and make the cut up the field.
It'll be 4th down and about 2 yards, so they'll try the field goal. There's the pass. Brim made sure. Barr's field goal, a 28-yarder, is good. So Matt Barr hits his 3rd field goal of the day, and the Patriots strike first in the 3rd quarter to lead by 3.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by the all-new 1995 Eclipse from Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles. By Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. By UPS, the official package delivery company of the NFL. And by Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's now. Buy a large 2-topping crunchy thin crust pizza and we'll give you a medium pizza free.
Not quite a sellout at Riverfront Stadium today, although the Prince of Bavaria is in town for Oktoberfest. The celebration going on in downtown Cincinnati. Kickoff taken by Darnay Scott. Dodged 2 men and asked for a block. Scott down the sideline, an excellent return to the 41-yard line where Bernie Leggett finally chased him down.
David Klingler put together that beautiful drive just before the half. He's used to those numbers, believe me. He was sacked 58 times in his first 18 games, so playing the role of punching bag is nothing uncommon. You can see that David Klingler continues to work the ball underneath. This is an offense that has not had any success at all this season throwing down the field.
First down pass. Klingler throws short, completes it to tight end Tony McGee, who rides the defender for another few yards and is close to a first down. Myron Guyton was trying to bring him down like a bulldogger and having not much luck. Myron Guyton played at Eastern Kentucky, not far from here.
Yeah, and you're talking about taking some heat over the last couple of weeks. He was a free agent. Bill Parcells really loved the guy when he played for him with the Giants, but was burned a couple of times and under a lot of scrutiny in New England.
2nd and a yard. Derek Finner picks up the first down. He's to the 44-yard line where Tim Goad makes the tackle.
But Myron Guyton lets everyone know that Bill Parcells was the only reason that he left the New York Giants. He was very comfortable playing there, had established a great reputation, but just wanted to come and play for Bill Parcells. And I'm sure you heard a few of those famous Bill Parcells comments in the films the past couple of weeks.
Bennett jumped away from the initial would-be tackler, and then Maurice Hurst gets him down for good. Myron Guyton played his high school football in Thomasville, Georgia, which is a hotbed of NFL players. 8 players in the National Football League came from Thomasville, and Charlie Ward, last year's Heisman Trophy winner, who is on his way to the NBA instead of the NFL. So Guyton from Thomasville, Georgia, and that set him up pretty well. He's one of 8 kids born in Metcalf, Georgia, and played at Eastern Kentucky. Klingler buried. Ball is loose, and New England has it again. Mike Pitts coming up with the football. Chris Slade was the man that knocked it loose from Klingler as the defense collapsed all over him. And for the second time in this half, New England forces a turnover.
That's the second straight play in which Chris Slade has just simply dominated his man, working there against David Cadigan, the former Jets player, and he just mauled him. I asked Bill Parcells yesterday about Chris Slade. I said, I've been watching him some on film, and he looks like he's playing pretty well this year. And Parcells sort of did his thing and rolled his eyes and said, you know, he's a little like a dog chasing a car. He's trying hard, but and that time he did more than try hard.
Turnovers all even now. New England got a field goal from the last Cincinnati miscue. In the flat, Kevin Turner gains about 7 yards. Lewis Oliver wrestles him down and got some help from the pursuit of the Bengals defense.
Chris Slade, just to go back to him for a minute, led the AFC rookies second among all NFL rookies with 9 sacks last year. Only Dana Stubblefield had more. Set the ACC's all-time record with 40 sacks. He knows how to get to the quarterback and made a huge play there.
Leroy Thompson, the resident of Cincinnati, takes it down to the 25-yard line and has a New England first down.
And how frustrating it must be for this Bengals defense. The offense goes out, ties up the ball game at the end of the half, and then comes out in the second half, 2 straight turnovers, and really putting too much pressure on this defense that has struggled already this year.
Just under the 10-minute mark, third quarter, New England up 16-13. Play action pass, Bledsoe overshoots Thompson on the sideline.
Doug Skeen may have saved Drew Bledsoe's life that time. Alfred Williams coming from his outside defensive end position, and Skeen on the molly, as they call that protection, in which the guard will check the inside linebacker. If not there, he has to hustle to get the outside guy, and got there just in time to save his quarterback's neck.
Bledsoe on the out to Michael Timpson, wrapped up by Brim, short of the first down.
Career high last year for Michael Timpson. 42 catches. Proved himself as an NFL receiver. There were a lot of doubts about a Brisby-Timpson combination at wide receiver, but both those guys played pretty well.
Timpson, the speedster, former track star at Penn State, and one of about 8 players on this New England team from Penn State. Bledsoe's pass, short hop to his intended receiver, Vincent Brisby. It'll be 4th down, and Matt Barr once again will come on to try a field goal. So looking on the bright spot from the Bengals standpoint, the 2 turnovers have not cost them a touchdown. And Matt Barr, who entered today's game not having attempted a field goal in the first 2 contests, is shooting for his 4th of the game.
He was fresh.
This will be a 36-yarder. Plenty of leg on that one. Matt Barr connects again. 2 Klingler fumbles, net 6 New England points. It's 19-13. That's Bob Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, looking for his first win as the Pats president and CEO.
So excited to own a professional franchise. Could barely sleep on the day or the night before the games, and Bill Parcells had the tough job of coming to him and telling him they had to cut 2 third-round draft picks, and the guy said, hey, do what you got to do. Make me a winner.
Darnay Scott from the 3. Hit hard and a flag down. Darnay Scott blasted at about the 24-yard line. Tough hit that time made by Corey Kroom of New England. Bob McElwee sorting it out. Turnovers have been huge in the game, 2 by each team, 3 of them resulting in scores. Penalty will be against New England and Cincinnati.
Get the abacus out now.
Well, back to the turnover theme, of course.
Personal foul, face mask foul, 26 defense, holding on the return team number 51. That's a double foul after change of possession. By rule, the receivers take the football, 1st and 10 at the end of the play.
So that amounted to not much, as Kroom of New England and Tovar of Cincinnati were whistled for infractions. So 2 Cincinnati turnovers have resulted in 2 New England field goals. And remember, the Bengals, after an interception of Bledsoe in the first quarter, got a 38-yard touchdown run from Steve Broussard after the turnovers. The turnovers have been very important in this game.
I wonder if the Bengals would get back into that 2-minute offense. That's when they look the best.
Harold Green tries the other side. Klingler thought about giving him a block, but nothing there. It'll go for a loss. Back to the 20-yard line. Ricky Reynolds cut off the corner and then tracked down Harold Green.
He didn't think about blocking for long, though, did he? I thought Harold Green was going to punt it when I first saw it. There you go. Run on out here, and yeah, let's go ahead and try the old circle back thing. It worked in high school one time.
Klingler said, well, he did the Matador act at the end of it. That pass, dangerous, intended for Pickens, as Maurice Hurst broke on the football and had a chance to pick it off. As it was, it goes incomplete.
Bengals defensively have to be shaking their heads. They've done their job. 2 mistakes by David Klingler in the offense. Cincinnati's defense held them on both occasions to field goals, and now the offense in reverse once more.
It's 3rd and 13. Broussard, the third down specialist, is in the game behind Derek Fenner. Fake the draw. Klingler down the center of the field for Scott. The speedster has it. Darnay Scott to the 21-yard line, tackled by Corwin Brown. 57 yards. Darnay Scott from Klingler.
I cannot believe the Patriots let someone else get behind them. Corwin Brown just fried on the play. Darnay Scott, such tremendous speed, was given his first start of his career today for that very reason, to create a little vertical stretch on the defense.
And another big play that Parcells did not want to see against his defense. Derek Fenner totes it for 4 yards to the 20.
Last week it was Myron Guyton burned, and now this time just simply outrun. Corwin Brown was in position, saw Darnay Scott coming directly towards him, and you see the gap, a couple 3 yards in the National Football League. Too easy.
So the rookie second-round draft choice from San Diego State, who was disappointed not going in the first round, makes a big play to put the Bengals in scoring territory. Pitch to Broussard. Dodged one man. Manages only a couple of yards before Vincent Brown bumps him out of bounds. Let's go to Greg Gumbel now at NFL Live for an update. Greg?
All right, Tom, at Pittsburgh, kind of a seesaw game, and it's seesaws in Indy's favor right now. Jim Harbaugh to Sean Dawkins, 19 yards and a touchdown. With the extra point, the Colts regain the lead in the third quarter, 21-17 over the Steelers. Tom and Chris, back to you.
All right, Greg, thanks. 19-13 New England here, but Cincinnati threatening. Pittsburgh a little disappointing perhaps early in the season, and the Colts looking pretty solid. Klingler right on target to Jeff Query. He's inside the 10 of the Patriots, tackled by Myron Guyton, but it'll be first and goal, Cincinnati.
And this defense of the Patriots has to be thinking, here we go again. Jeff Query finding a big gap in the zone defense. The holes are there. No question about it. The holes in this defense are definitely there. Not great speed at the inside linebacker position. Gives you some room to work.
That was too easy, wasn't it? Second catch by Query. Total of 17 yards. That's the play off. To Broussard for the touchdown. Second touchdown of the day for Steve Broussard.
Tom, you have to go back to the blown opportunities from the Patriots. Crittenden drops the touchdown pass just before the half. They get 2 early turnovers in the second half. Don't take advantage of it. And now here are the Bengals about to take the lead.
Doug Pelfrey missed an extra point earlier, but boots it through to put Cincinnati up by 1. Second touchdown run of the day by Steve Broussard, and Cincinnati leads 20-19. Bengals by by 1. Steve Broussard may have been the most important offseason acquisition by Cincinnati. In this game, 3 carries, 51 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Gives them speed in the backfield that they have not had since James Brooks.
79-yard scoring drive by Cincinnati, and then Lee Johnson buries the kick. Blair Thomas will down it in the end zone. That's something you rarely see these days.
Lee Johnson jacked up as well. The Bengals desperately needed team speed, and they got it during the offseason. Drafted Darnay Scott, picked up Steve Broussard from the Falcons. Those 2 guys with the big plays in that last touchdown drive.
79-yard touchdown drive by Cincinnati to take the lead. And the crowd reappears for Cincinnati. Drew Bledsoe has passed for 231 yards today, but has thrown 2 interceptions and has not tossed a touchdown pass. But continues to run into a stone wall on the defensive front of the Bengals, with one of their many first-round draft choices, John Copeland, making that play.
And now the Patriots have their hands full. Plenty of opportunities to put this Bengals team away. Remember, this is a team that started 0-10 a year ago. Start 0-2 here, and the crowd desperate for a win.
Bledsoe scrambles and is taken down by Alfred Williams, another of the first-round draft choices for Cincinnati.
And Tom, there's no question there's talent on this football team for the Cincinnati Bengals, and all they have 7 first-round draft choices in their starting lineup. Alfred Williams with the inside move won't go down as a sack, but the pressure is now beginning to be applied up front.
There are the #1 draft picks, including Big Daddy Wilkinson this year, the first player taken. 3 wide receivers on 3rd and 6. Bledsoe with a quick drop finds Ben Coates, and he rambles for a first down. Tough run by Coates, who beat John Johnson to the marker. Shake it up, but able to get to his feet and limps back out onto the field.
Tom, to be a superstar in the National Football League, when times start getting a little tough, you have to make plays. And Ben Coates has done it throughout the afternoon and done it in every game so far this season. Looked like he may have twisted his ankle at the end of it.
First down, New England from the 35. Trailing by 1. Bledsoe on target again. Sideline route to Michael Timpson. Out of bounds after a gain of 11.
What a huge 3rd down play that was from Ben Coates and Drew Bledsoe. Took the crowd out of the game, gave this offense a little confidence. And now, for the Patriots, you have to give up on the running game. The running game hasn't been there all day. Go with what you do best. Throw the football.
First down, the ball spotted at the 46 of New England. 3.5 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. Marion Butts finds a seam up the middle. Maybe his best run of the day. Keith Rucker brings him down after a gain of 6.
Well, that's a good call, because definitely the Bengals looking for pass now. So you run the delayed draw to Marion Butts. Everything now off of the passing game. You run the draws, you run the screens, you throw the ball down the field. Don't try and just go up and overpower guys like 340-pound Keith Rucker.
Butts has carried 15 times for only 35 yards. Bledsoe wings it down the sideline. Intended for Brisby and too long, incomplete. Rod Jones was running with him. Bledsoe overshot his man that time.
Not going to outrun Rod Jones. If you remember, Rod Jones was the one that incredibly ran down Bo Jackson on about a 94-yard play. Almost made the Olympic team. Won an NCAA track title in the 400 meters, so plenty of speed in number 25.
Missed by only 2/100ths of making the Olympic team at 400 meters during his days at SMU. Just lob it to Turner, and Kevin Turner has another New England first down to the 34-yard line of Cincinnati. Rocked by Lewis Oliver, but another first down.
Pardon me, Tom. There was the tight end fullback passing game that Bill Parcells has perfected over the years. They love to get it in there to the tight end. If you want to take away the tight end, Ben Coates here, then you play to the fullback. That time Coates covered, dump it off, nobody there for the fullback, Kevin Turner.
Play action pass, Bledsoe. Put some air under it. Timpson for the touchdown. Great catch by Michael Timpson in traffic. Grimm and Oliver had double coverage. It goes for a 35-yard score.
Wow. An absolutely perfect throw, and watch this catch. In traffic, bending back over his outside shoulder, taking a shot. That's big time.
Michael Timpson has been the man, the big play man for the Patriots today, and they're going to line up to go for a 2-point conversion, leading by 5. Going to try to make it a 7-point game.
Most teams throw in the 2-point situation.
And Bledsoe will. Quick drop and broken up. Timpson was the intended receiver, but Mike Grimm batted it to the turf. And the 2-point conversion is no good. It remains a 5-point New England lead.
Tried to work the pick underneath. That was Mike Grimm playing center field that made the play.
Drew Bledsoe has added to his New England record with his 4th consecutive 300-yard passing game. Now with 301 yards on the day after that touchdown pass. That kickoff is fumbled, and it finally goes out of bounds. It'll be Cincinnati's ball. Eric Shaw couldn't handle it, number 90. Goes out of bounds. Well, Klingler wanted to be included among the young guns in the NFL. Drew Bledsoe has earned that distinction, and 13 of 18. He hasn't gotten the attempts Bledsoe has, but holding his own on percentage and has not tossed an interception, though he has fumbled twice.
And Tom, David Klingler has not been the problem for the Bengals so far this season. He has played fairly well.
Well, the Bengals go 79 yards. The Patriots answer with an 80-yard drive. It's Cincy's turn. 2 minutes left in the third quarter. First down run by Derek Fenner. It's like two mirror images now. Neither team can get the run going. The passing attacks are clicking, and neither can stop the other the last few times. It's
always tough running right up the middle against the Patriots. Tim Goad right there in the middle, always tough to move off the ball. Interesting, Goad considered quitting this football team a year ago, was really struggling with the new 2-gap defense that they brought in, Bill Parcells and his staff, and I guess he and his wife took some time, sat down and thought about it, and he came back and decided to just have a little fun playing the game.
Klingler sets up the screen to Harold Green. He gets one block, then cuts back into the pursuit. It'll go down for about a 6-yard gain. Maurice Hurst made the play on Harold Green. Hurst is having a good game. Haven't been able to say that about many of secondary players of the Patriots.
Well, the expectations were so much higher for the Patriots in their secondary after they went into the free agent market, signed Ricky Reynolds and Myron Guyton to go along with Maurice Hurst, who's a top quality corner in this league.
Cincinnati will call a timeout. First timeout taken by the Bengals in this second half. 52 seconds left. Well, next week, next Saturday, we'll have a chance to see the legend again. Joe Montana, Rick Meyer will be moving over once again to make room for young Ron Paulus.
Oh, boy.
As the Irish pulled out a 1-point win in East Lansing against Michigan State yesterday, as Paulus struggled. What do you have, 4 interceptions? Was that what it was, Chris?
Yeah, but one of them wasn't his fault.
I see. Tip ball, as it was. So Saturday at 2:30, the Irish will square off against their in-state rival, the 2-0 Purdue Boilermakers. Always fun to go to South Bend, and we'll be there for the kickoff, 2:30 Eastern Time, Notre Dame and Purdue. The legend continues.
You do a 4-hour broadcast, say one stupid thing.
Now number 22
Former Golden Domer, Rod Smith.
Right. Big 3rd and 3 play for Klingler and the Bengals. The rush all over Klingler. He's buried once again. Troy Barnett just took the offensive lineman back with him. Sabb was there too, but I'm telling you, Troy Barnett, the rookie free agent from North Carolina, just bulldozed his way to Klingler.
Just a straight bull rush, and look like Ken Moyer, they're working against number 73. No question, he is the weak link in this Bengals offensive line, and the loss of those tackles now beginning to show up for Cincinnati.
That was the 6th, count them, 6th sack of the day for the Patriots in 3 quarters. Crittenden takes the Johnson punt, tries to get away and cannot. He's taken down at the 38-yard line. First contact made by David Frisch of Cincinnati. 19 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Patriots take over, leading 25-20. Well, here's what we have coming for you tonight on NBC. A triple header filled with mystery and action. Bermuda Triangle, secrets revealed. Unsolved mysteries special on UFOs. And then the 2-hour season premiere of Sequest. That's all coming up tonight, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 6 o'clock Central Time here on NBC. The Bermuda Triangle, secrets revealed, then Unsolved mysteries special, and the 2-hour Sequest season premiere.
Maybe get Sequest to resolve those unsolved mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle.
Get them all working together, huh? Bledsoe to Coates. Clicks once again to the 45 of Cincinnati, and a first down. Ricardo McDonald made the tackle after 15 yards.
Ricardo McDonald just beating up on Ben Coates, holding him, grabbing him, doing everything he can, and they still get it in.
That'll bring the 3rd quarter to a close. We end the 3rd quarter with the Patriots leading the Bengals 25-20.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
This one has gone back and forth all day. 25-20, New England leading. The series also is close. 8-7, New England leading it. As Bledsoe goes downfield, intended for Timpson, who can't quite run under it. The Patriots in their throwback uniforms today. Their 1963 version of the Patriot uniform. That was when they won their first divisional championship. In fact, they won a tiebreaker game with Buffalo in the old AFL, then lost to San Diego in the AFL championship game. Injured player is Ty Parton of the Bengals. Back in '63, who do you think the Patriots MVP was?
You?
No. I was just a lad then. It was the sweet Kentucky Babe, Vito Babe Pirelli.
Yes.
Ben Coates has had a big day. He's caught 8 passes for 108 yards.
But again, the story for the Bengals defensive line, no sacks in the ball game. This will be their 3rd straight game unless they get one here in the 4th quarter. And if you give Drew Bledsoe that much time, he will eventually find Ben Coates.
Patriots got 2 field goals as a result of Cincinnati turnovers, and then had a long drive, 80 yards. Bledsoe puts it up for the 45th time in the game and hits Timpson. Mike Brim wraps him up. Timpson has been busy today, too.
They're going to have to decompress Bill Parcells at the end of this season if they keep throwing the ball as often as they have the first 3 games. Of course, you know, Don Shula was known as a running coach until number 13 showed up in Miami, so I don't know. Can Bill Parcells make the conversion as well?
Timpson has caught 10 balls for 124 yards. So Timpson and Coates between them with 18 receptions. And Bledsoe for the day is 27 for 45, over 300 yards. Butts draws a crowd. Carrying tacklers inside the 30. Tim Crumry, the veteran, at the bottom of the stack. And Crumry in his 12th year now, a gray beard as far as his position.
And he's
not happy, huh?
No, he's not. And he openly admits that he sort of stalks the sideline, splitting time now with Keith Rucker. But he's one guy that looks good in those throwback uniforms. He looks like a guy that would have played in the 40s and 50s. Plays like it, too.
Butts tries the other side with success. He's to the 20-yard line. Steve Tovar made a saving tackle on Marion Butts. And the running game starting to click a little bit after all the passing earlier.
How'd you like to play free safety and watch this coming at you?
17 carries, 52 yards, Marion Butts. First down, New England at the Cincinnati 20. Patriots lead 25-20. Butts again. Nice cutback. Blasts his way to the 15, where he runs into Williams and Oliver.
Stopped by Darrell Williams and Louis Oliver.
Louis Oliver and Marion Butts have been going at it all day. Nice nifty move. Well, you don't expect any big 240-pound backs to make that kind of a move, and Louis Oliver is getting sick of Marion Butts.
Usually those guys are straight-ahead runners, aren't they? Pete Johnson, the old Bengal.
Yeah, he used to run straight into me.
Should have gotten a block. Butts hit at the line of scrimmage, still manages to squeak out 2 or 3 yards. So just when you counted out the Patriots running game, Parcells goes right back to it with success.
Well, the Bengals had to make some adjustments to try and do something against Drew Bledsoe in the passing attack, and now Bill Parcells and Ray Perkins, the offensive coordinator, throwing a bit of a change-up, and this sort of resembles the game they had last week when they got the running game going in the second half.
3rd and 3 from the 13. Bledsoe to the air. Floats it complete. Turner out of the backfield. There's a marker down. Turner is to the 1. Mike Brim kept him from getting into the end zone. There is a penalty marker on the play, and Turner looks like he's slow getting up. Bledsoe all disheveled after he had dodged the rush.
Number 29, defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
So Louis Oliver, guilty of the hold. The 12-yard pass to Turner will stand.
Tight end fullback game again. Ben Coates being held by Louis Oliver. They come on the blitz. Instead of blocking on the outside, Turner just releases. Nobody there to cover.
And Turner is still down on the turf.
Couldn't really tell by the replay what might have happened to him. Really a dynamic receiving fullback, set a school record with 48 catches at Alabama. That's the most ever by a running back. And he would be a major loss for this football team. They haven't even rolled him off the ball yet.
Former Alabama High School Player of the Year in Prattville, Alabama. Went to the University of Alabama, and in his 3rd season with the Patriots.
You saw the great block he threw earlier to spring Marion Butts for a touchdown.
Falling on the football, maybe? That would just knock the wind out of you.
You would hope. But ordinarily, you don't spend this much time on the ground if you just had the wind knocked out of you. Sometimes that ball can get underneath you, and you land on top of it. If it lands high enough, can jar that rib cage. Hard to tell. Obviously, it didn't hurt his legs, but you just don't know how serious the blow was to his ribs. Really the only thing that I can see. It's like he just landed on the ball. But a big play. Remember, that was 3rd and 3, and now 1st and goal at the 1.
1st and goal at the 1-yard line. Bernie Leggett, second-year free agent from Michigan, replaces Turner at the fullback spot. play of the drive. But no signal yet. Ball came free, but it was ruled down, and he did not get into the end zone. Steve Tovar made sure of that, number 51.
I thought Marion had snuck underneath. Steve Tovar, bottom of your screen, number 51, flying through the air, overshoots Marion Butts. A good call by the officials. The helmet may have gotten across, but the ball did not.
Two tight ends, Coates and Burke. Leggett and Butts in the backfield. Marion Butts again. And still no score. Twice Drew Bledsoe has raised his arms in the touchdown, and twice the officials have not. Now they say touchdown. They had to unstack them, and David Shula can't believe it.
Good job of officiating. No question the line judge was blocked on the play. Marion Butts wasn't going anywhere at the bottom of that pile. Here's where the line judge stands on this side. Absolutely no way for him to know if Marion Butts got over. Goes in, takes a closer look, and if anything, the Bengals were pushing him back.
Going for two. Bledsoe's pass incomplete. Second two-point conversion that's gone awry for the Patriots. Ben Coates, the intended receiver. Louis Oliver broke it up. It's 31-20, New England.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by the Optima True Grace Card from American Express. By your gas industry. Clean, economical, natural gas. Think what you'll save. By Compact, makers of the Contura Aero, so light and portable you'll never be tempted to leave it behind. And by Coors Light, the silver bullet, keep on moving.
New England Patriots closing in on their average of 35 points a game, leading 31-20. Pat O'Neill's kick to Darnay Scott at the 5. Scott is dropped at about the 28 by Marty Moore, the rookie linebacker playing on special teams.
Tom, I really think that David Klingler has to get the football back in the hands of his two game breakers, Steve Broussard and Darnay Scott. Those are the guys that have created the excitement this afternoon for the Bengals, and they just haven't seen the football enough.
Klingler is hitting at a 74% clip in this game. 14 for 19, 170 yards and a touchdown. Trouble is, the Patriots have scored on all 4 possessions in the second half. Play action. Klingler down the field. He had Query 5 yards behind the defender. Ricky Reynolds was burned by Query, and Klingler absolutely missed him. Penalty marker down.
Probably the biggest problem that David Klingler had a year ago was throwing the deep ball. Consistently.
Contact, number 21, defense. 5 yards, previous spot, first down automatic.
Ricky Reynolds was absolutely fried on the play, and he knew it. Tried to do anything to slow down Jeff Query and probably threw off the timing of the route. That's about as open as you'll see a wide receiver in the National Football League, and badly thrown by David Klingler.
Again, play action. Klingler hit as he let it go. The ball tipped and incomplete. Vincent Brown applying the pressure on Klingler, but why are they going to the play action fake at this point?
Well, sometimes it's just part of the offense. They're trying to hold the linebackers, but they really weren't trying to work anything underneath, so there's no reason to try and hold the linebackers. Good protection. He steps up into the pocket. I think that was Vincent Brown that made contact.
Harold Green stumbling, tumbling, and down. Troy Barnett made sure.
And the crowd giving the Bengals what for now. I feel like it's time to start putting the ball up. Steve Broussard back in the ball game now, and he's their third down back.
He's been the big play man for the Bengals today. 2 touchdowns.
Tell you what, Troy Barnett hasn't been too bad today either.
Klingler throws it to his tight end McGee. Dragged down by Myron Guyton, short of the first down. And the punt team greeted by boos as David Shula eschews the 4th down and 2 and will punt it away.
I agree with the decision, but when you turn it back over to this offense, they have been so incredible through these first 3 games. Chances not good that you get it back in a hurry.
9:14 left in the game and counting. Patriots by 11. Good boot by Lee Johnson. Chases Crittenden back on a fair catch to the 14-yard line. So Johnson packs the Patriots up. Trouble is, Cincinnati still trails by 11 with just over 9 minutes left.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's now. Buy a large 2-topping crunchy thin crust pizza and we'll give you a medium pizza free.
With producer David Michaels and director Larry Cavallina, Tom Hammond, Chris Collinsworth, Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. 9:02 on the clock. Drew Bledsoe with the football leading by 11. He's passed for 339 yards today. Kevin Turner, who was injured earlier, back in the game for New England. Marion Butts got a yard to the 15. Big Daddy collapsed him at that point. Bledsoe doing a good job of spreading the ball around to his receivers today with his 28 completions.
The mark of a good quarterback is if you can distribute the football, not allow them to simply take away one receiver and get the job done. And Timpson, Coates, the go-to guys today for Drew Bledsoe.
So 4 receivers with 47 or more yards receiving from Bledsoe. Incomplete, intended for Michael Timpson. Mike Brim was there with him. Good coverage.
Tom, one of the things that Bill Parcells does so effectively when he runs a football team is cuts down on the number of mistakes. Last year, the Patriots went from allowing 65 sacks the year before down to 23. They also had the fewest penalties in the league a year ago. So far in this one, no sacks and only 14 yards on 3 penalties.
This would be the time as you see Bledsoe's total. Again, over 300. That's the Patriot record. Time when he'd like to work the clock with a long ground drive. Instead, they have to go to the air, but it works just as well. There's Ben Coates again. In traffic, he makes the catch to the 30 and 31-yard line. Francis and Johnson were all over him, and it goes for 17 yards.
And James Francis cannot believe it. James Francis pounding Ben Coates off the line, running with it. Perfect coverage all over him, standing in front, has his hand in front, get the arm in between, and he still picks up the first down. James Francis left talking to himself, sitting on the turf.
From tiny Livingstone College, Ben Coates, first down New England, pitches to Butts, and a nice cut after a block on the corner, then is thrown down by Francis. Clock ticking down, showing 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
Remember, he's a great receiver, but a better blocker. Ben Coates taking John Copeland and just shoving him inside.
Good block there by the pulling Doug Skeen. But Patriots have only amassed 78 rushing yards today. Butts has not been able to get untracked. Steve Tovar made the tackle for no gain there.
Steve Tovar is a linebacker that Bill Parcells would like having have playing on his football team. Tovar is the reason, basically, that the Bengals went from a 34 to a 43 defense this year. Take a look at Ray Perkins. Another big third down call for the Patriots. They do not want to turn the football back over to the Bengals offense.
3rd and 2. Approaching the 6-minute mark. And New England up 31-20. Still plenty of time on the play clock. It's in 10 seconds. Bledsoe under pressure, shoots it to Butts. Marion Butts has a New England first down to the 49-yard line. Banged down by Louis Oliver and John Johnson. But another 3rd down conversion by Bledsoe.
You think they're tired of having Ben Coates beat them on 3rd down?
Boom, boom.
They got the whole team guarding him now. Unfortunately, that leaves Marion Butts wide open. Tough to beat that quadruple coverage.
Butts. A yard or 2. Steve Tovar. Patriots still looking to pound the ball and put the Bengals away, coming to the 5-minute mark.
Getting close to the point in the game now where if the Bengals are going to have a chance, they have to stop them. Need 2 scores, 11 points. Touchdown, 2-point conversion, and a field goal gets David Shula into overtime.
Or else he's staring at 0-3, and the team will begin to snipe at Easton. The fans already not filling the stadium in the 3rd game of the campaign, and things beginning to unravel. Might have been a mix-up on the play that time. Bledsoe kept it and got back to the line of scrimmage where he's covered by Rucker and Williams.
And this Bengal crowd no longer a believer. They're starting to file out.
Timeout taken by Cincinnati, stopping the clock at 4:23. New England leads 31-20. A pensive Mike Brown of the Bengals.
That's what it feels like to own an 0-3 and 3 straight years of losing. Here on Throwbacks weekend, there was a rumor going around he was trying to throw back salaries to the 68 date as well.
Well, still $5 million under the cap. He's done a pretty good job of it. Bledsoe got away from the rush. Threw it for Crittenden down the sideline with Alfred Williams bearing down on him, and big Alfred, John Copeland was there too, made a swipe at the football in Bledsoe's hand. Couldn't get it away from him, but did cause the pass play to go awry. Meanwhile, Bob Kraft is getting ready to celebrate his first victory as an NFL owner.
May just fly home without the plane. So into it, so enthusiastic.
What about those tips he was giving Matt Barr before the game? Barr's perfect today. 4 for 4 field goals.
Must have helped.
O'Neal will punt to Corey Sawyer. Is this the first New England punt? First one I can remember. Sawyer, fair catch. Backpedaling into the end zone.
Wait a minute. Is that a safety?
Still no ruling. No, they say down at the 1-foot line. Corey Sawyer's looking for a place to hide at the moment.
And Dave Shula will have a few suggestions for him.
4:06 left. The Bengals backed up. Backed up. They're at the 1-inch line after Corey Sawyer had his mind back in Tallahassee. Klingler got rid of it. Incomplete. Corey Sawyer, the rookie from Florida State, is the cause of all this.
Tom, they say if you watch football long enough, you'll see everything. Here's a new one on me.
They're lucky it wasn't safety there. Sawyer's from Key West, and he'd have to go about that far to escape the wrath of David Shula. Ken Moyer is injured.
Boy, and the problems continue up front for the Bengals. I don't know what they do for another offensive lineman. Maybe let Corey Sawyer take a shot at it. They've already lost Eric Moore, their starting tackle. Joe Walter, another starting tackle out. Now they go to work on Ken Moyer.
as they tend to Moyer's knee. Bob Kraft about to get that elusive first win as the Patriots owner.
He really saved this franchise, kept them from moving, going out of town, stepped up, put the money up.
But like some other owners in the NFL, he has a little coaching blood in him. Look at this before the game with Matt Barr. This set the tone for the day, and keep in mind, Barr is perfect today.
He said, now, Matt, make sure you get that plant foot down and then swing those hips through there. And look at Steve DiAsi. He knows where his bread's buttered.
Oh, he's going to show him now. Right here. So that's your spot now.
He doesn't have it quite down as good as Jerry Jones, but he's working on it. Nice tie.
I think he's been watching that. We give him a thumbs up. Yeah, okay.
Attaboy. Attaboy. Have some fun. You deserve it. You put up that kind of cash. Save Matt Barr's career. No question about it. Now Ken Moyer working his way off the field. Ken Moyer is one of the really terrific people in the game of football. Wants to be a minister when his playing days are over. Said, even though I have such a strong Christian belief, I have no problem trying to drive a guy right into the dirt, but just a super person, really a nice guy.
He's replaced by Dan Jones at the right guard spot. Klingler rifles it complete to Pickens. Carl Pickens is off to the races. Banged down at midfield. 50-yard pass completion, 51 officially. Ricky Reynolds collapsed him. Clock down to 3:42, and the Bengals need a quick score.
Hard to overthrow Carl Pickens, a 7-foot high jumper, and he went up and just snagged that one.
Draw play to Broussard. Tries to turn the corner and instead is driven out of bounds after a couple of yard gain.
Tried to come back to the draw that they scored their first touchdown on in the opening drive of the game, I believe it was. Really surprised that the Bengals haven't tried to get the ball back to Darnay Scott. Scott came up with that long completion to set up their last touchdown and hasn't seen the football since.
Dropped. Scott, the intended receiver, they came back to him, and he dropped what should have been a reception.
That was a great throw there by David Klingler. Klingler absolutely running for his life, off balance, and somehow got those shoulders turned and was able to find Darnay Scott. This is the ball you need to lay out to catch. At that point, you don't worry about turning it up the field there. The completion much more important.
Klingler's hit 16 of 28, 228 yards. Once again, he's wrestled down for the 7th sack. There is a penalty marker down. They might have gotten him with a face mask. Mike Jones was the man all over Klingler. McGinnis was back there too. Klingler's angry. Look at him. He's going to take somebody on.
15-yard face mask foul. 53 defense. 15 yards, automatic first down.
Called it on Chris Slade.
The better of the two blitzing outside linebackers. Always a dangerous. I don't think that was on Chris Slade at all. Wow. Wow. Kenny Anderson got one of those one time, and it put him out of commission for the better part of a year. This is so dangerous when you get a guy that big and that strong grabbing the face mask the way that Mike Jones did. David Klingler's lucky he's still in one piece.
300 pounds behind that grab of the face mask. 41-yard line, the spot of the football. 3 minutes left. Klingler off the back foot finds his receiver McGee, the tight end. Just a short gain, though. Myron Guyton made sure he didn't get away.
Great job there by Myron Guyton. They came with the all-out blitz. Klingler had it red, and Guyton made a huge tackle. There was no one else in sight.
You see the time left? Only one timeout remaining, Cincinnati. Flag is down as Klingler short hops Tim McGee.
And I think the Patriots got fouled up in their substitution. Looked like they had 12 men on the field. Old Sam White's trick to make the quick substitution. Snap the football. They tried to get their nickel defense out there.
I believe Cincinnati might be advised to go to the no-huddle offense. They've had their best offensive production today when they go without the huddle.
I agree.
It's like a hat convention out there, offsetting penalties.
Like motion on the Bengals offense.
Illegal motion, offense. 12 men on the field, defense, offsetting penalties, replay the down. Second down.
2:40 to go. It's time for the Bengals to take their shot, or else they'll be down to just an onside kick opportunity to win this game.
And thanks to the two-point conversion rule, it is still a game. Screen to Broussard. Convoy of blockers. He has a first down to the 28 of the Patriots.
Don't forget the Bengals had to burn a couple of timeouts early. Only one remaining.
Klingler stacks up. Has McGee. First down at the 14. Vincent Brown tackled Tony McGee. Klingler's right back up, bouncing up to call his play.
Ricky Reynolds came on a corner blitz and almost got decapitated.
They couldn't get it off before the 2-minute warning. That'll stop the clock with 2 minutes to play. And the Bengals trailing by 11 points. We'll be back for the final 2 minutes in just a moment. Two minutes left for Mike Brown and the Cincinnati Bengals, trailing by 11. First down from the 14. Klingler's pass complete to Broussard, dragged down at about the 7 by Vincent Brown. Clock continues to roll when you pass it to the middle of the field. Broussard on the draw. You got to throw the football, don't you?
Well, I tell you, that draw play burns about 30 seconds. It's okay when you have 3 timeouts remaining, but not in that situation.
Flags down. Slade wrestles down Klingler, but the Patriots are going to be called for too many men on the field.
Again, trying to hustle that nickel defense out there.
12 men on the field against the defense. We call a timeout.
The toughest part of the field to try to substitute is down around the goal lines, because you're not allowed to move past about the 25, 30-yard line, something like that. So you have to run all the way down the field. If the Bengals had made a substitution, then the Patriots would have been given time to make their substitution. But because the Bengals went right to the line, the Patriots could not run out there and make that substitution that
men on
quickly.
the field, defense, half the distance, first down.
That's a big play for the Bengal offense. They're looking at third down about 4.
Now they have first and goal at the New England 4-yard line, but only 1:16 on the clock and needing 11 to tie. They're in this position because Doug Pelfrey missed a point after on the first score of the game. Klingler's pass for the touchdown. Pickens beat Ricky Reynolds, and now Klingler with the 2 fingers in the air. They must go for 2 and then get a field goal to tie. 11-play drive by Klingler to put them with a chance.
It's never easy getting your first win as a coach in the National Football League, and never easy getting your first win as an owner either. Bob Kraft now forced to sweat this one out. Carl Pickens working against Ricky Reynolds. Boy, that's a nice move. Good little step outside, swim underneath. Pretty move by Carl Pickens.
This has been a 99-yard drive. They started just an inch from their goal line, now going for 2. Broussard has it. They went almost the length of the field and then succeed on a 2-point conversion, and suddenly it's a 3-point game, 31-28. And you don't think David Klingler is fired up? They bloodied his nose on the last drive, but he had the last laugh. 31-28, 1:13 showing on the clock, and David Klingler starting to emerge as the fiery leader of the Cincinnati Bengals. It's been building and building with him this season, and maybe finally reaching fruition in this game as Kenny Anderson, the quarterback's coach of the Bengals, is there on the sideline. Had so many great years in a Bengal uniform, and now Klingler, perhaps a watershed game for him.
But Tom, the 2 wasted timeouts in this half now dictate strategy in this situation. Could have been conceivable that you could take the timeouts, kick it deep, and hope to get the football back. Now have to go for the onside kick.
Pelfrey will kick it, not Johnson, as they go for the onside. Has to travel 10 yards. A pop-up fielded by the Patriots and hung on. Steve Diassi, Myron Guyton, and it's Guyton, number 29, that cradles the football. They try to rip it away, but it'll be New England ball in Cincinnati with only 1 timeout left.
He had it, but you never know what happens at the bottom. Bill Parcells can breathe again. It hasn't been easy. It's a great onside kick by Doug Pelfrey. It goes straight up in the air. Well, it could have very easily been some knocking around there between 2 former teammates with the Giants, Diassi and Myron Guyton.
Bledsoe takes a knee. The Bengals will have to use their final timeout. It comes with 1:08 left. So New England will get its first win of the season and then go on the road to the Silverdome to face the Lions next week, while Cincinnati drops to 0-3 with a match against Houston at the Astrodome coming up next week. Well, there's the equivalent of the victory cigar as Bob Kraft dons the coat, ready to celebrate that initial victory as an NFL owner.
And congratulations to him. You have to be happy for Bob Kraft. He stepped up when New England needed to have an owner and save the franchise and keep them in New England. He did that, and you have to be happy for what his football team and he's accomplished here so far. Boy, this is a team that may be good this year. It's hard to tell. This wasn't a totally impressive win against the Cincinnati Bengals, but offensively, no doubt about the ability on the field for the Patriots. They just have to figure out what's happening defensively.
Bledsoe will wind up hitting 30 of 50 for 365 yards. 1 touchdown, 2 picked off. And the New England Patriots will have 2 receivers over 100 yards. Timpson had 10 catches for 125 and Coates 8 for 108.
But there's the guy that got it done once again, Drew Bledsoe. No longer a fluke. Doing it pretty consistently.
See the folks that made our telecast possible from Riverfront Stadium as the 46,000 plus file out of the stadium heading for Oktoberfest in downtown Cincinnati. And that elusive first victory comes to the New England Patriots. Again, they have to score over 30 points. They had averaged 35 a game in their 2 defeats, hanging on by the barest of margins over the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, maybe Bill just go to the run and shoot now.
The new look, Bill Parcells, New England Patriots, with Drew Bledsoe at the controls, passing for 365 yards and chalking up. Final score, New England 31, Cincinnati 28. We'll have more NFL action coming up after the